Good morning. Charlie O'Hara in the studio. Our legal counsel ready to answer your questions. 436-1212 is the number to call if you have one. And we just lost a phone call we had on the line, Charlie, but they did tell us their question before we came on the air, and the question was, what do you do as far as legal recourse goes when you've made an investment, you've paid someone to fix something perhaps on your property, and they don't do it?
Well, you've got to be real careful. I mean, as we were discussing at times, some people tend to take, if they're going to improve their home or do some repairs to it, they always want to take a bunch of bids and take the lowest bid and go with the lowest bid. And sometimes that's dangerous because you really need to go along with somebody you kind of trust and is well known and you know is going to be around. If you give somebody some money early and you can't find them or they're hard to find, it's going to be tough to get the money. You can go to an attorney and sue them or small claims court and sue them, but then you got to collect the money too. So I think if you're having a project done, you probably need to make an agreement that you'll make the payments in stages as the work is done, rather than all of it at once. You need to be real careful with that, and I think you really need to look at who you're doing business with. Obviously, if you have somebody you've used before or a neighbor's used and they're very trustworthy and you trust that person, you can treat them a little bit different, but they should treat you a little bit different too. And I think that's a very important thing to do when having repairs made to anything. You need to go to somebody that you trust. And small payments, perhaps, if you can work something like that
That's
out.
right.
That's right.
Okay, thanks, Charlie. Good luck with that. We're going to go ahead and get on the phones now. We have a call on the line. Good morning. You're on the line with Charlie. What's your question?
Oh.
Hi there. You're on the line with Charlie. Go ahead. What's your question?
Yes, I have a question. If you know that someone's been missing between 7 and 10 years, how do you go about getting a death certificate or declaring them dead?
Well, I think you have to go to court to do that, and if they've been gone that long, I think there's a presumption that kicks in. And without looking it up, and in my mind, I don't have the presumption. I think I know what it is, but I hate to say it. But there's a presumption after someone's gone so long and nobody's heard from them at all that they are presumed dead, and then you'd have to go to court and have that done. I think you could go to an attorney. I don't think that's a real complex process. There's probably something you need to consult an attorney about.
Okay, does it vary between states then as well?
I think it would,
okay.
But it's probably going to be pretty close everywhere. I don't think there's a huge, I mean, people have to be gone a pretty long time before you presume they're dead with no one hearing from them.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Good luck with that. Thank you very much for calling. We have time now for another one this morning. Hi, you're on the line with Charlie. What's your question?
Yeah, what is the statute on a civil lawsuit?
Well, it really depends. It depends on what kind of a civil lawsuit it is. Statute of limitations, I think you mean statute of limitations, and what those mean is after a certain period of time passes, you've given up your right to file your lawsuit or charge a crime. For instance, on a criminal case, it's 5 years. If you don't charge something within 5 years, it's too late unless it's certain crimes, and then certain crimes last forever, like murder. And some civil cases are shorter. Some medical malpractices are especially short. Some things having to do with employment are short. Some other things are longer. And then, of course, then if you get to a fraudulent situation, it depends on when you discover you've been cheated, and it would run from there, and you get into all kinds of issues there, too.
Well, and I was going to ask you, why would you wait so long, perhaps, in a civil case? I know that we've had people call before, and they've probably already passed the deadline. What takes so long sometimes to make that decision?
Oh, I think some people don't want to sue, and they think they can talk to somebody and settle the matter, and other things happen, and then suddenly somebody says, well, you better get a lawsuit filed. You've really been cheated. So it kind of depends on a lot of circumstances, and people tend to wait. We all kind of trust people and want to work things out and be responsible. Some people are very intimidated by the court system, too.
Okay, so if they were to call an attorney and had a question like this, is that something they could answer, or do you need to make an appointment perhaps with one?
Well, either way, but most attorneys will have a free appointment, initial consultation, so they can tell you if you've got anything to go with.
Okay.
And you come in there and you go, it's been 10 years, and they go, well, you don't need me, you can't do anything. And that's what most attorneys will do. People ought to go to an attorney if they have a question and ask and get everything straightened out to begin with.
Well, and I wanted to get that out there because I know we hear a lot of people concerned about the finances, and a lot of times you say, like, it is free.
Well, usually, and not always, but usually a good attorney will talk to you to begin with to make sure you have something to talk to them about.
Okay.
Because sometimes there's a lot of advice out in the public that gives you advice. You know, your friends are always giving you advice, and it doesn't usually hold much water.
Once you go to court.
Once you go to court. So you need to see somebody that knows what they're doing so they can ask the right questions.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Good advice as always, and have a good weekend.